Nintendo is my favorite publisher of all time. I've loved Nintendo ever since I was a child and have grown up with this publisher for years and years on end. I played all the games, bought all the consoles, and they've truly given me some of my most precious gaming experiences I will ever have. The amazement I got playing Breath of the Wild for the first time, the memories I would make playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with my family, getting ecstatic over playing Pokemon Omega Ruby for the first time and seeing all the unique Pokemon I can catch. I love Nintendo. Man, fuck Nintendo.
Hey, Peggy, let me talk to him one time. Hold up.
I think Nintendo, company-wise at least, has been the worst it's ever been. I have never seen a company so blatantly hate their customers so much. Like, just in recent memory, they have been raising the prices of their consoles, including the Switch 1, which, you know, we just got out of, taking down emulators like Yuzu and Ryujinx, not supplying developers with smaller, faster storage cards, being the first publisher that immediately jumped into $80 price tags for goddamn Mario Kart, suing Palworld. They made DragX Drive. Nintendo is a greedy company that deserves most of the scrutiny it gets nowadays. Being a Nintendo fan nowadays is genuinely so sad because when they announce something really cool, I would get hyped over it. I'll be so excited. I'll be doing my little dance, only to be immediately splashed with cold water. Mario Galaxy 1+2 coming to Switch in 4K 60 and redone textures and amiibo based off the game? Oh my god, where do I pay? Oh. You know, I think I'm good with the Wii version for now. Virtual Boy games being preserved. Oh my god, that's so cool. I can't wait to experience that. Oh. Oh, come on. Are you paying for that? Switch 2 editions are probably the most egregious one because while I have no problem with paying $10 upgrade, as essentially it's just become a standard in games now, the $20 upgrades are just kind of a scam to me. They don't even guarantee you 4K 60. Like, Mario Party Jamboree doesn't have 4K 60. What kind of clown universe am I living in? Well, at least we got the talking flower. You know, that alone is worth $20.
I'm not trying to scare you, but there's a camera and a microphone in this device.
The only $20 Switch 2 edition I played for is the Forgotten Land DLC, mainly because I really like Forgotten Land and I thought the DLC would be worth it. It was only kind of worth it. There's also the game key cards, which are the bane of my fucking existence. I hate these things so much, dude. The game is not on the cartridge, it's only just a download of the game, which is dumb. I feel like they would have more use if you could just take the cartridge out and still play the game, but nope, you have to have the cartridge in, which is just so stupid. Not only that, it's just wasteful. Like, why are we spending so much time making plastic cartridges that can possibly go out of service as soon as the server shut down? Which is a when, not a can anymore. And the only reason why game key cards exist now is because Nintendo is only offering 64GB cartridges now, which is also dumb. From my understanding, I think, someone can correct me, but essentially all the cartridge sizes cost the same amount now compared to the previous Switch 1 cartridge sizes, which all cost less money to make. So instead of a 5GB cartridge costing less than a 64GB cartridge, now they both cost the same amount to produce. That's why we have the game key cards. And on one hand, I get it, you know, it costs a lot of money to make that, but also, your goddamn Nintendo, you can eat it. Not only that, one of the developers of the Star Wars Outlaws port has said that the reason why they couldn't do a full cartridge release was because of the cartridge itself being way too slow. It's almost like there's another medium we can use other than flashcards in order to get these way faster speeds and make them a whole lot cheaper. But I don't know, I think I'm making that up. It makes it sadder when a physical copy does get announced way after the game's release. I appreciate the fact that you took the time to make a proper physical. But did it really have to be months after the game launched? Especially Sega, I know you have the fun! Also remove Cowabunga Cowards. And then the Palworld shit just pisses me off because they essentially just pulled a Drake. Instead of coming back making the best games you guys made in years to prove people wrong, they sued them and Iceman singles are still ass. Do I think there's an argument that Palworld ripped off Pokemon? Oh, of course. But what you don't do is wait till they get popular and then sue them because now you look like an idiot. And Palworld got money now to fight back. And you know what? I genuinely see this as a case that Palworld is actually going to win. And if they do win, that would just make you look even worse. I have genuinely hated every single move Nintendo has made these past years. And it makes me even more upset that this is happening all when the Switch 2 releases. Because I genuinely really like my Switch 2. Ain't no buyer's remorse coming out of me. I'm genuinely loving my Switch 2. I play it every day. And I will be playing Metroid Prime 4 when that finally drops in December. But god damn, I hate seeing this company I once loved become more and more greedy as the years go by. I miss the Wii U days when they actually gave a shit about us. I miss Reggie and Iwata, man. Because modern day Nintendo is the worst it's ever... What's that? Oh, they always been like this? What are you talking about? Oh my god! No matter what happens with Nintendo, you're always going to get a group of people who clearly don't know what the hell they're talking about saying, oh man, I miss the old Nintendo. I miss the Wii U days. I miss the 3DS days. And while I think it's very valid for people who criticize current Nintendo, let's not pretend like any of this is new. Like, just because Iwata and Reggie gave it to you in a nice platter doesn't mean it wasn't shit back then. Nintendo has always been a greedy company. Like, you think GameCube Online is bad? How about paying full price for all of them, only a couple years after they release? On the Wii, which can play GameCube games, with motion controls, which sometimes are the inferior way to play the game. Did I mention full price? Or how about the original 3DS prices, which were so bad they had to bring it down by 30% only a couple months after release? I'll take it a step further. Do you remember the Nintendo Partner Program? If any veteran Nintendo YouTubers are watching this, I probably just gave them PTSD. Essentially, if you made any videos about Nintendo at all, you would have to give them a massive cut of your money. Eventually it got shut down, but it was still just so stupid, dude. And just disencourage any conversation about Nintendo at all. It legit didn't make any sense. Now you might have mentioned, oh, what about the Wii U and 3DS era games? And all I gotta say is, did you experience that era at all? And if you did, you were most likely a child. I'll hop off my goat to 3DS in a minute, but by the tail end of its generation, it was receiving stinker after stinker, dude. The 3DS is still a goat though, that's undeniable. But while I have a lot of fond memories with my Wii U, that console was a 2-pack of ass. Let's not try to pretend like it's not. It had some bangers. I'm not gonna pretend like it didn't. But it also has some of Nintendo's worst games they've ever released, like some generational fumbles. Y'all remember Star Fox Zero? No? What about Star Fox Guard that came with Star Fox Zero? No? Paper Mario Color Splash, anyone? The only good thing about that game is its writing and visuals. How about Devil's Third? Do we have any Devil's Thirds enjoyers in the chat? I bet none of you even played the game. Y'all just watched the Scott the Woz video on it. RIP. Even the good games from this era were the same shit. 2D platformers or a platformer that's inspired by 2D platformers. Also a whole lot of Mario. Just a lot of Mario. You'll be lucky if you see a single other franchise. And even more luckier if that game ends up being good. And while I'm only touching on the Wii U, the 3DS also had a lot of generational fumbles. Again, I love my 3DS. The 3DS is the GOAT. But my god, this console was not safe from some of Nintendo's bullshit. Of course, there was the dumbass pricing of the OG model. The fact that the first year of the 3DS, there was barely anything to play. The fact that you can only play SNES games on the new 3DS models, even though the console can run stuff that's more powerful than an SNES. I mean, I get that SNES games are hard to emulate for older hardware, but also, it's Nintendo. They could have figured it out. And speaking of the new 3DS, do y'all remember new 3DS exclusive games? And how none of them were worth it outside of a port of Xenoblade, which was cool, but like, why the hell would you play Xenoblade on a fucking new 3DS? My point is, no matter what way you look at it, this was Nintendo's worst era by far. So when I hear people say, oh, I missed the Wii U era because they really cared, I brush that shit off so fast because either you didn't live through that era or you were a child. And that's coming from someone who lived through that era as a child. You think they gave you a free game with every purchase of Mario Kart 8 because they like you? No, because they were losing money and they needed to sell more Wii U's. I get the fact that a lot of the stuff that's going on with Nintendo is a lot more blatant than it was years ago, and now we're adults and we can use our voice to actually talk against this. But let's not romanticize the past, dude. Especially since now we're getting good games of different variety. Except Drag X Drive, let's not count that. Every time I hear someone say I miss the old era of Nintendo, all I can think of is just, No, you don't. But oh boy, I wish this was the only side of Nintendo fans I hate. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because pretty much everyone has said their piece on it. But I hate Nintendo dick riders, or what they've been dubbed recently, Nintendo adults. And also Nintendo YouTubers, but we'll get into them in a minute. Now, I'm not one of those people who think that they're the reason why all of this is happening, or they're part of the problem, because I think that's a bit of a reach. But I do agree that they play a part in why Nintendo fans are just okay with some of these changes. Like, guys, you don't need to buy these key cards or all these overpriced amiibo. You could just not, you know?
We need to talk about game key cards because they suck.
Why did you buy them then?
And unless we do something about it, you know, other than not buy them. Whoops.
Like, I think the Mario Galaxy amiibo looks beautiful, but I'm not buying them. And to this day, I have never paid for a game key card at all, or don't even own any. And that is something I take massive pride in. It's fine to not get things you don't think are worth it. You don't gotta overpay for these stuff if you don't really want to. I'm not saying don't enjoy your product. I'm saying if you have an issue with it, don't support it. But you see these guys complain about these problems and then actively support it. And I know someone's gonna say, oh, aren't you doing the same thing by owning a Switch 2? No, not really. I just wanted a Switch 2, so I bought a Switch 2. I don't want game key cards, so I just won't buy game key cards. It's really that simple. Why do we have to complicate things? And there's also people that feel the need to defend every single action Nintendo does. Like, bro, hop off, you're not getting a free copy. Also, let's be for real. Nintendo gets special treatment. The reason why they can charge $80 for a new Mario Kart and $20 for bare-bone upgrades, or just flat out brick your console if you even sneeze in it the wrong way, is because out of all companies, they can get away with it the most. Sony and Microsoft don't got that traction at all, but that doesn't stop Microsoft. What makes Nintendo different from a Ubisoft or EA is that they make good games consistently, and they actually value art compared to a lot of other publishers. We are ignoring Pokemon Company in this conversation. We'll get to them in a minute. That's why they're able to get away with a lot of the shit they do, and is also why a lot of the average consumers that don't really pay attention to this stuff always buy their products, is because they're always quality compared to a Ubisoft or EA. Well, most of the time. And like many people have said before me, these kind of Nintendo fans are basically the new Disney adults. It doesn't matter what they do, they'll support it. But like Disney, they got limits. And we'll see those limits soon enough. But what I want to talk about today is the far opposite side of this group, and the type of people that don't nearly get as talked about, or at least talked about by normal people. The overly negative Nintendo hater, or grifter, but that word gets thrown around a lot to the point where it lost all meaning, like the word woke, so I'm just going to use hater instead. They will hate everything Nintendo's doing no matter what, and they'll hate you for even thinking about liking it. Like, I remember when the Switch 2 first launched and so many people were just okay with harassing multiple people for daring to own it, and how you should have voted with your wallets instead of supporting a greedy corporation. So we're gonna make you do it by being incredibly annoying about it.
Before it, that if you bought it on release, you may just be a little bit stupid. I know that's harsh to say, but
I told my boy gon' roll like 10 blunts for me. I told my boy gon' roll like 10 blunts for me.
And I'm going to hit some of you guys with the cold water. Voting with your wallet doesn't work, because not only you're fighting against a company with massive staying power, but also just the casual crowd that realistically doesn't care about this stuff, and liars, but we're not getting into that. And unless it's something that genuinely matters, voting with your wallet doesn't really work at all. But even then, for those more serious topics, that more so falls in the line of boycott than it does voting with your wallet. And look, you gotta be honest with yourself. Are you really gonna get mad at the casual crowd for not really caring all that much? Because 90% of the casual crowd you're gonna get mad at are people who are kids or parents who are buying stuff for their kids. Do you think they care about how lazy the new Pokemon game is? No, they look at Pokemon and think, oh hey, I like Pokemon, I want to play it, buy it, and then probably enjoy it because it's Pokemon. And are you really going to get upset at some normal ass people doing normal ass things? Don't get any of my words twisted. This is not me justifying any of this. If a YouTuber who should know better is constantly saying, this new thing sucks, and then actively supporting the new thing, call that out immediately, because at that point you're just being dishonest to your audience. But getting mad at the casual crowd for just liking some video games, isn't that not just dumb? I also just dislike a lot of the misinformation spread about the Switch too. Like, do you remember when people were saying that physical games were going to be $10 more, which would make them $90? Because that was a lie, yet people passed it like it was true. Or more recently, stuff with the Power World case where the recent patent isn't really what you think it is. TLDR, unlike what a lot of people are saying, it wasn't a patent to lock anyone from making a monster summoning game. You just can't make one that's similar to Pokemon, like summoning with a ball or something like that. AKA, this was made specifically to go after Power World. Which, don't get me wrong, is still shitty and still boils my blood. But the way people were talking about this made it seem like every single monster collecting game was in trouble, when in reality, these were made with Power World in mind, so stuff like Digimon and SMT won't get hit with this as well. And it's just like, why do you have to make up lies? Like, sure, someone can make the argument that Nintendo kind of deserves all this and something like that, but why should I listen to you if all your hate is built off nothing but lies? At that point, it just makes Nintendo look better, because it seems like the only thing to hate them for is made up reasons, which is far from the truth. Like, imagine if I told you Donkey Kong was $90 and then go off of how much of a piece of shit company Nintendo is for doing that. And then you go to the store and see that Donkey Kong was $20 less than what I originally said. Why would you trust a single word that comes out of my mouth if I can't even get simple information like that right? What, because I hate Nintendo? Newsflash, bucko, there's multiple people who hate Nintendo off strictly facts, so I'm not special at that point. I don't know if this counts as misinformation, but I'm including it here anyways because I think it's stupid. I saw someone legit trying to pin Sonic's whole downfall on Nintendo, and I'm sorry, that is the dumbest fucking take I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, do we need to make up reasons to hate Nintendo? They're right there! No, Sonic was not sabotaged by the funny red people. They could have said no with the 3-game plan, yet they continued to do it, and no one asked them to switch up the style! Why do we need to make up reasons to hate them? They give us enough reasons to hate them!
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
I'll go even further with my hatred for these people. I hate modern Pokemon. I hate how bland every game looks. I hate how every game comes out with seemingly no changes. I hate how Pokemon Company seemingly rushes these games out the door and charges full price for them. Legends Arceus and Let's Go are the only 2 games from the Switch generation I can confidently say are good games. Sword and Shield is a guilty pleasure of mine. I despise Scarlet and Violet, and I hate Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So theoretically, I should be on board with the people who hate ZA, right? Right? Oh my god. I didn't buy ZA because I think the game looked really bad, and I'm tired of buying bad Pokemon games at this point. This isn't me trying to take a stand or me trying to do anything really. It's just because I don't like how the game looks. The effect is I won't buy it. But some people still bought it and still love the game and are happily enjoying it, and I think that's completely okay. They are allowed to enjoy something I don't. I am a goddamn Sonic fan. Imagine how hypocritical it would be if I got mad at people for enjoying the games that are technically not good. But some people just take this ZA shit too far, dude. Like, does it really have to be that serious? First, I always dislike the argument that these developers are lazy or anything. Game development is inherently a not lazy job, because it takes a lot of work, trial and error, patience, and other things that I saw in interviews. So saying any game is lazy is a very lazy critique, because you gotta think of it in the game developer's perspective. Every year, Pokemon Company always has to develop a new game. It was easy for a while because we were on handheld, but now players are on more strong hardware, so they have to develop for that strong hardware. So now not only they're developing for hardware they have no experience with, but also they have to work on a new game and also some DLC and also DLC for that other new game. And oh my god, the other new game is a disaster? Well, we don't have time to fix that. Let's just continue working with the DLC and hope they can accept it. And the cycle continues. Does any of that sound lazy to you? Because in my opinion, that sounds stressful as hell. All to get a game that you know you could do so much better with. And let me be clear, I am not trying to use that to justify the state that Pokemon Legends ZA is at. because I think it's kind of inexcusable. But I don't want to put that blame on the developers. I'm putting it on Pokemon companies for rushing the developers. And I just feel bad for any Game Freak developers out there, because Jesus Christ, imagine having to work on these games every year. It would get so tiring, because there's clearly talent here that just gets wasted. And before anyone tries to disagree with me on that, some people would make the same argument for Ubisoft games, yet Expedition 33 is made by ex-Ubisoft staff, showing that there's talent in people that develop these type of games, they're just not being utilized. And again, this is not me justifying the state that the game was left in, more so trying to put into perspective on what's really wrong instead of just saying X and X are lazy and money hungry. Because really, the higher-ups are the ones that we should be against, not the developers. But even then, if you still enjoy the game despite what's wrong with it, that's completely okay. Also, I am so sorry. I genuinely hate the conversation where ZA is going, because either you're full on ostrich in the sand pretending like nothing's wrong with the game and people just love to complain, or you're being a dick about not wanting to play it yourself. I'm not going to talk about the ostrich, because at that point it's just me beating up a dead horse. So I'm going to beat the horse that isn't dead, because that's more fun. I hate this mindset with pretty much any game that releases, that even if you think the game has issues, you can't let others enjoy it. Zero's TV made a video talking about ZA, saying how he believes the game isn't good, but is still enjoying it nevertheless. And I'm sure we're going to get some nice, sane comments.
Keep buying slop and you're gonna make more slop. Y'all got robbed 80 for a mobile game. I'm not gonna lie, the amount of people that coped for the most profitable media franchise in the history of the world is astounding. The Pokemon Company really thinks that we're all idiots, and for the most part, they're right!
Like, what happened to respectfully disagreeing? And I don't want to completely misrepresent this comment section. There are people who are legit respectfully disagreeing or even offering alternatives like Digimon. And for those people, I salute you. You are keeping the dream alive. I'm not saying these games are above criticism, but some of y'all need to calm the hell down. I almost guarantee you that half of the people who are complaining about ZA and other people daring to enjoy it are the same people who buy new Call of Duties every year or buy games from companies who are arguably worse.
Who was that?
Doesn't matter.
And it's not even me trying to have a gotcha moment. It's more just like the fact that, like, we are not any better. During the horrible 2010 Sonic drought, I bought up all the Sonic games out there, even if they were trash, which most of the time they were. I paid full price for Sonic Forces. Do you think I'm in a place to judge people? Because, like, most of these people who are buying these games and enjoying it are grown-ass people. Why do I care what a grown-ass man is doing with their wallet? I'm not saying don't listen to other people's opinions if you want to go buy a game or something. But also, at the end of the day, it should be your judgment on whether or not you want to play a game or not. And if you want to play ZA or you're enjoying ZA, that is completely fine. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to the random people saying you're evil for even thinking to buy this game. Because some of those same niggas watch these AI slot videos talking about these games.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Some of those same niggas watch Felicify. Are you going to take opinions from Felicify? Also, I am just so tired of people using Power World as an example of what Pokemon should be doing. Am I saying Power World's a bad game? No. I played a bit of Power World and I genuinely thought it was a fun time. But from when people were talking about this game as a Pokemon alternative, I don't know, I just scratched my head. The game looks like an Unreal 5 asset flip, which is fine because it's still early access. But let's not act like the visuals are some kind of artistic direction, because in reality, it's just whatever assets they had. And this is just another reason why I think Power World's gonna win at the end of the day, because even outside of the main obvious comparison, these games are completely different. One is a turn-based RPG while the other is a survival game. They could not be more different from each other. Also, I just find it interesting that every time Power World gets brought up on how good of a video game it is, it's always to compare it to Pokemon and not on its own. With other competitors like Digimon and Yokai Watch, usually they're talking about the actual gameplay and how good it is compared to, you know, the comparisons to Pokemon. But I just want to ask, is the only thing about Power World just like it's slightly better than modern Pokemon games? Is that genuinely the only thing to talk about? That's a genuine question. Also, Time Stranger is better than both of them. You should just play that. Being a fan at pretty much anything Nintendo nowadays is just obnoxious.
I'm tired, boss.
Because you either have to deal with fans who are just bootlickers for anything Nintendo does nowadays, or deal with fans who are just overly negative about everything the company is doing and watches this shit. So what's the ultimate point with this video? Can we just talk about this stuff in a sane nature, please? Genuinely, the ZA drama pushed me to make this video because this has genuinely been the most obnoxious game launch I've ever seen. Because, like, people don't know how to respect each other at all. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because the real culprit got away with it all. I'm not saying this to justify any of the hatred or any of Nintendo's actions as a company or even Pokemon Company's action as a company. I more so just wanted to make this video the rant because I hate being a modern Nintendo fan. And I do hope going forward we can just calm down about these conversations instead of trying to kill each other over a goddamn video game console. Because at the end of the day, it's never that serious. Then again, I just made a 26-minute long video talking about all this, so maybe I should have just taken that advice before making this video, but therapy's expensive.